All right, well, we'll start with, first of all, we're excited about the selection and having a chance to go back to the Poinsettia Bowl. Before we get into that, an opponent, our coaches on the road right now, it's recruiting time, and everybody's been out getting a chance to contact and see these recruits and get face-to-face, which is a great time, very important, very valuable time for us. And then also practice, continue to communicate with our guys with finals coming up and making sure they're prepared and finishing strong academically while preparing for the bowl game. So that's what we've been doing. I think our guys did a nice job, had a couple practices over the weekend and a banquet. Everybody came back to work ready to go. They've been conditioning and preparing, running and preparing for practice. I thought we had a couple good days of practice, and some of these guys have had some nagging injuries. A few more days off has helped, and that showed up. They'll have a few days off this week of just running, lifting, getting ready for finals the following week, and then we'll practice over the weekend along with recruiting. So that's where we're at right now, and it's a fun schedule, but it's also a little bit of difficult to get everybody on the same page. And so with the announcement of the bowl game, don't know much about Northern Illinois yet as far as the football goes, just the X's and O's, but certainly know about the program and the type of success that they've had. And Coach Carey's done a great job. What I've seen over the last 3 years that he's been the head coach, they've continued the success. This program continues to be a championship program and has played in those games. I think they've been in 6 championship games the last 6 years. That's impressive. And this team knows how to win, and they have a culture of winning. And so our guys will be extremely excited once they pop on the tape. One, because of the type of opponent we're playing against. And I know they're going to look at these guys when they watch them and look at the one-on-one battles they have to try to beat. Whoever the opponent is they're going against, they're going to look forward to that matchup. So with that, our guys are looking forward to it, finishing out this bowl game, doing it in Southern California, which is a great recruiting area for us, and getting down there and getting prepared for it, and hopefully doing our very best and finishing out with these seniors who have won 39 games, and this is one, an opportunity to win 40. And we've got to do the work. We've got to put in the time. We've got to be prepared. We'll get a few guys back and get ourselves in that game and be ready to roll. Proud of our guys that were on the All Mountain West team, and those guys that were selected. Really feel like it was deserving, and proud of the guys we have on there. And with that, open up for questions.
So you guys did have some actual practices last week while most of the coaches were gone, and how many of the 15 do you expect to use before the game?
Yeah, well, there's really not a limit, when it comes to that. But as many as we can is what we're going to try to do. The difficult part is we need to use the weeks to go out during the contact period and go see our guys, see the recruits, and then come back on the weekend. And we have recruiting weekends during practice. So there's a lot going on. And coaches on the road, along with recruiting film, they need to be watching game film and doing some game planning. So it's a lot of texting, a lot of phone calls, a lot of shooting pictures, to each other. I mean, really, we're doing everything by phone right now. And it's an interesting way to plan when it comes to a bowl prep, but that's how it is until it goes dead and we can actually all get back here, boots on the ground, and start working on the game plan in the staff rooms like we normally do. But we had some basic practice structure, just working on fundamentals, working on special teams, working on base plays, working on base D, really against each other. No game plan from that standpoint, and just getting guys back into football mode. We'll do that this week as well, but it's obviously going to be tailored towards Northern Illinois and what they do and some of the things we're going to see from them.
Can you kind of give us the medical report here now that you guys have a little time? And obviously Darian and Shane were out the last couple of games, and then It sounds like with DSG and Finley, you're in the boat to play or redshirt them at this point. Kind of what goes into that decision?
Yeah, as far as Shane, Darian, some of those guys that have been out, we expect to have them back. As far as Finley, those guys that have had the actual surgeries, they're not ready to play. And so we don't expect them to play. And they haven't been in any contact. Ryan's been able to throw a little bit, but he's not ready to play and won't be come bowl time. So we'll continue with their rehab and getting these guys fully healthy. You know, like we thought would happen after they had the surgeries or after they had the breaks and their recovery time. Didn't expect them to be back, and don't expect them. They won't be back in the bowl game for sure.
With Dylan, it sounded like at one time you guys thought you might get him back by the end of October, and then not going to even be back for the bowl game. Something changed there?
Yeah, I think that was wishful thinking more than anything. And I think in his case, you know, and he's pushed as well, but he's not going to be fully healthy. And when you're talking about recovery time and surgeries and what they've gone through, we don't want to have a guy come back and have it another break or re-aggravated. So at this point, we don't need to, I say we don't need to. He's not going to come back. And we're going to continue with his rehab and get him fully healthy for the spring and get him prepared for that.
Recruiting is obviously a big part of your and all the rest of the coaches' jobs, but do you enjoy that aspect of it? And how hard is it to split the time when you're focused on going out there and you're game planning for a bowl game that's going on?
Yeah, absolutely do. Enjoy the part where you're actually with the recruits. The travel and plane to plane and trying to get airport to airport, not necessarily. You'd like to just be able to transport yourself to everybody's home and see these guys and be around them. But yeah, you see the high school coaches, you get to see the families face to face, you get out there and get a chance to see these guys on their turf. Yeah, that's something that's a big part of what we do, because you're trying to figure out the fit. And these guys are going to come into your program, and they've been here, most of them, and you've been to their place, and so you got a better idea of, you know, how it's all going to work and, you know, what their situation is. But I know our coaches, they all enjoy that, because this is a part of, in a perfect world, you're losing a quarter of your team, you're bringing a quarter in. And these guys are very important to our success and the type of players not only we have in here, but student athletes we bring in as well. They're going to come in here and graduate, be a part of this program for a long time. So, yeah, from that standpoint, absolutely. With the game planning and recruiting, it gets to be difficult. And that's where guys that are in, you got to rely on them. Your graduate assistants that are not out on the road, you got to rely on them and making sure that you know, you get as much information as you can. So when you get back, and your players too, they're watching tape. They're also getting a very good idea of what the opponent looks like. And now as you put things in, they're going to be able to grasp it a little bit faster because they've done the study. And as far as graduate assistants, a couple guys that are not going to be with us in a good way moving forward. I know you guys heard that Coach Choate got the head job at Montana State, which for him, we're all excited. And that's been, I know, a goal of his for a long time. And not only has he got that, he's also smart. He's going to take a couple guys from this program. Byron Hout will be going to Montana State and coaching there, probably linebackers or D-line, don't know what capacity yet. And then on the fast track, Matt Miller as well. We'll have an opportunity to work on the offensive side. So two very good ones, and guys that we think very highly of. They're going to have opportunities now to move on and start their careers in this profession. So we couldn't be more excited for them and Coach Choate and what they're going to do at Montana State. So I want to throw that out there with those guys. And they're going to be with us as long as they can, but it's going to be time for them too to go start their real jobs and get going.
Did I see where this year there's a difference in the recruiting? Is there a dead period during the bowls, and is that new? And how will that change things in the district?
It's not new. I think it's a week longer than it was last year. Yeah, so there's quite a bit of time. But yes, all the way through the bowl games, it's always been dead during that time, but it's also dead through the national championship and the coaching convention. that was one where some of these teams that were playing in January, guys were having, ones that weren't, were able to go out and have contact. Well, you're in a New Year's Six bowl game, New Year's bowl game or a playoff game now, and guys are out recruiting. That was something that I think everybody was a little aggravated by. So it actually carries through those bowl games and into the coaching convention.
On the flip side, you would have liked to have been playing in the conference championship game, but you got an extra week that you didn't get last year, I think, to send the whole coaching staff out. What was the extra, how much beneficial was the last week that maybe you didn't have last year?
I would certainly trade that week of recruiting for the championship game. And I got a chance to watch it. I'm glad you asked that. Watched Air Force, San Diego State, and congratulations to San Diego State to be able to win all the games in the conference. I know how difficult that is, and they had a great year. Air Force, I thought, played very well in that game. So, we certainly don't want to be in this position next year or any years moving forward. But we are, and we were, and we did take advantage of it. So, as far as the dead period goes, last year, not having that chance to go out and recruit, it became a scramble when you're trying to sign 20 to 25 guys and trying to see every single one of them. And I get to go out and see every guy one time, or try to. It's a challenge. And so I've gotten a chance to see more guys through that week. And in the back end in January, hopefully that's going to help a little bit when it comes to getting face to face with everybody. But yeah, we certainly don't want to be doing that very often. We like to be in that championship game, and that's the goal.
Last time you guys went to San Diego in 08, I think there was a practice where you brought a bunch of the high school coaches out to watch you guys. Obviously Kurt mentioned yesterday you had the training with the SEALs for the red shirts. Anything like that you guys will try to do this year to take advantage of being down there?
Yeah, we will. I haven't really gotten everything planned at this point. We'll have some events that they have scheduled for the families and the players and all that, so we'll obviously do that. Don't know if we'll have the SEALs and those type of things. We might. I don't know that yet. And as far as the coaches and where we're going to practice, we're putting all that together right now as we speak. So we'll have a few other activities on top of what the bowl provides, but the focus is to go down there and prepare to go play our very best in the bowl game. That's the main emphasis. And it's great for Boise State and our brand to be in Southern California. It's great for a lot of our guys that come from there. It's great to be playing in this type of bowl game against Northern Illinois, that type of opponent. At the same time, we still have a goal, which is to win our bowl game, and we want to go down there and have our best performance of the year. And so our mentality around all those things is going to be preparing to try to win this game. And that will be the main focus and the most important thing.
Kind of answered part of my question there, but just, the overall experience of that bowl with the launch on an aircraft carrier and going to SeaWorld and the zoo and, the beach is right there, and just based on, 8-4 this year, all things considered, what do you make of this bowl and the experience your players are going to have? Yeah,
it's a great bowl game. It really is. And what they do and how they go about it, we've obviously been to some very first-class bowl games. This is one of them, without a doubt. And one similar to it, the Holiday Bowl, I got a chance to go there with Texas as well, so to be in that same type of setup. But this one's different, and we played there against TCU in 2008. I know our guys had a great experience. We didn't win that game. That's one thing that you go back to it. We obviously want to change that. When we're in the Poinsettia Bowl, we'd like to come out with a win. But as far as what they do and how they set everything up, it's very accommodating for practices and guys having a chance to really focus on the game at the same time, having some really great activities that San Diego provides that a lot of guys that aren't from that area get a chance to do, and the families.
Brett starts the year, maybe not playing, ends up the year as the All Mountain West quarterback. Just kind of your thoughts on his development through the season now, looking back, and for him to win an award like that as a true freshman. Yeah,
it's really one. It's a credit to the work that he put in prior to being named a starter. He had an opportunity and he seized it. Let's say that. And Coach Drinkwitz, I thought, did a very good job with him this year. You can go back. There's plenty of things that, you know, we want to continue to do better, and we need to improve on, and stuff that we're going to work on moving forward. But I thought Coach Drinkwitz with that room, I thought Brett taking advantage of his opportunity. If you go back into that Idaho State game, and when Finley went down, and you think about opportunities, Tommy Stewart comes in and leads a scoring drive. Brett comes in and scores. Alex Ogle comes in and scores. You know, all those guys in that one particular game took advantage of their opportunity, and Brett was obviously the starter from that point on, and had some really good games, had some games that he struggled, and, you know, at the end of the year was recognized for, you know, the better performances than the ones that he didn't have, and was more consistent with playing better than he did playing poorly, but plenty to work on. And happy for him, but really it's an award that goes to everybody on the offensive side. We ran the ball fairly well, the O-line. We got better in protection as the year went on. Wide receivers, Thomas Spurbeck, you obviously look at what he was able to accomplish with his year, and I think that's probably one, to me, what Thomas was able to do is probably the most exciting, because he's such a hard worker and does those things consistently, and to be a guy that I think third nationally in receiving yards. I don't know if we've had that. I don't know, and I really don't know that. I haven't gone back and looked at the stats, so you might know more than me on it. But it's a team award, and all those guys that got it, hey, that's great. And we talked about it as a team, but it also comes back to the guys around him. And so, yeah, for Brett, hey, I think the one thing about him is, you know, he appreciates it, but it's also motivating for him to keep pushing, improving, and really looking at what really matters when we pop on that tape, what has to get better.
When